Hi, this is Mr. Evans. This video is going to look at the final little section in this part of the specification here. I've covered costs in the last video, so we're going to look at revenue, profit and loss. Apologies for the sound of the rain in the background. So you need to understand as a business student this concept of total revenue. Well, what is total revenue? Total revenue is sometimes called sales revenue, sometimes called turnover, but they seem to be calling it revenue a lot of times in the specification. So whenever you see the phrase total revenue, sales revenue, it means the same thing. And it's the total income that a business gains from the sales of their goods and services. How do you calculate it? Well, you work out what the selling price is for what they are selling, their product, and then you multiply that by the quantity of units sold. So you can shorten that formula to total revenue equals P times Q. The key thing that you need to remember, and the key thing that students often get confused about or forget, is that revenue isn't equal to profit. They're two different things. So if you take a very simple example of selling cakes, well, if you sell cakes for £1 each and you sell 10 of them, how much revenue do you get? Well, they're £1 each, you sell 10 of them, that equals £10 total revenue. But is that your profit? Well, no, probably not, because you've had to incur some costs to earn that revenue. So you've got the cost of ingredients and packaging, etc. So let's just say that that cost you £4. So the total revenue was £10, but that's not your profit because you've got to subtract your costs from that. And if your costs were £4, £10 minus 4 equals £6 profit. So total revenue, sales revenue, it's the income a business gains from the sales of their goods and services. Profit, on the other hand, is different. And profit occurs when the total revenue earned from an organisation's sales is greater than the costs incurred in earning that revenue. In other words, when a business gets in excess money from selling their products on top of the costs that they had to, the money that they spent in terms of earning that revenue. So we can say the key formula is profit is equal to total revenue minus total costs. And this is probably the most important formula you need to learn in GCSE business. Okay, you can just shorten it to P equals TR minus TC, but you really need to learn it off by hand because it often comes up as a calculation in the exam. And just to be clear, it's called a profit when the total revenue is greater than the total costs. That's earning a profit. A loss, on the other hand, we use the same formula. We subtract total costs from total revenue, but a loss happens when a business's costs are actually higher than the amount of revenue that they earn. So they sell their cakes for £10, but for some reason their costs were more expensive than that. Maybe they've had to discount the cakes because they were going off or something like that. So if we're selling 10 cakes for £1, maybe we've spent £12 on those ingredients, in which case we've made a loss. But they are the key terms on finance that you need to know, and it's at the end of this section on business planning.